Hello again from my front porch. It's a bit overcast here in Iowa today, which actually is kind of appropriate for what it is I wanted to uh, uh, chat about today. Um, I was asked, someone brought up that it had been a while. They thought it had been a while since I had posted one of these front porch videos. And I said, it's very observant of you. Yes, it has been. I've just been really busy with work stuff, parent stuff, taking care of my parents, that is, life stuff. And it creates a weight that at times can just be ever present and very draining, in fact. And so, like, I enjoy my job. I really do. I love my job. I love the people that I work with. I love the people who are part of my team that I get to lead. But man, it can be a job that drains, that takes a lot out of me, requires a great deal out of me. And that's not a bad thing, but it is a reality thing. Likewise, taking care of my parents and helping them. It's not that I don't see that as a bad thing. I don't see that as a nuisance or an inconvenience. At least I don't want to see it that way. But there are times when it becomes very draining, when it even becomes frustrating. And it's not to say that then I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just a reality thing, that there are situations that happen, stuff that comes up that that just rubs you the wrong way, that is an irritant. And then just life stuff in general, just the everyday mundane grind of things, of paying bills and taking care of stuff around the house. And of course, I have a relationship to maintain too with Lisa and her daughter Sophia, and all that entails, and the time commitment involved with that. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But when you start looking at the reality of all of these different things, and you start figuring out how to fit all of them into one life, there can be challenges, and it can become a lot. And here, I don't know, here lately, it has been a lot. It just has. I'm just being honest and genuine. It's like, you succeed with this thing over here, and when you should have a chance to celebrate that, there's these other 3 or 4 things that are pushing, they need taken care of, some of them right now. So that the victory over here is very short-lived, because now you have to move to the next thing, and then the next thing is waiting already, and they just pile up. And it seems like for a little while here now, it has been a constant barrage of expectations of others, of what they need me to do for them. And there's not been a lot of Paul taking care of himself, taking time for himself. And I see that popping up in the fact that I'm sleeping a little extra if I can, stealing an extra hour of sleep, if I can, or I sit down to watch TV and I just crash. I don't even get through the show I sat down to watch, which are shows that I like watching. But I just crash. Last night, in fact, I sat down to watch the recent recording of The Curse of Oak Island, a show that I love watching, and I couldn't tell you what happened on it. I'm going to have to watch it again because I don't remember it all. But I started watching that probably around 10 o'clock, maybe, is about the time that I started that. But I fell asleep during that, and I fell asleep on the couch facing the TV in my basement, and I woke up around 3 a.m. I was just out. And I really think that it has to do with this being so stretched, with just, and it's not even a physical exhaustion. It's a mental exhaustion. It's a psychological exhaustion. So, well, what's the solution, Paul? What's the cure? I don't know. There isn't one. If I knew what it was, I'd be doing it myself right now. What I do know is this. When any of us are in this, and by the way, if you find yourself in this kind of scenario that I'm describing right now, I want you to understand you've done nothing wrong. Okay? You don't need to feel bad. You don't need to feel like you have failed, that you've come up short, that there's something wrong with you. That's not, you don't need to feel bad because you feel overwhelmed, or because you feel weighted down, or because you feel like it's just a grind. You don't need to feel, I mean, I'm not complaining about my job. I'm not complaining about my parents, and I'm complaining about my girlfriend because she'd see the video and she'd. But I'm not complaining about these things that contribute. I'm just observing that for whatever reason, all of it has been building and creating this weight. And you might find yourself in this similar kind of situation too. And if you do, don't sit back and kick yourself. Don't come down on yourself and think that you have somehow failed to live up to some expectation. This just happens. It just happens. When it happens, and I'm not going to say if, because it always happens. When it happens, we have two choices in how we respond. One, we can sit back and wait for somebody else to come along and solve it for us. Some magic wizard to just materialize out of thin air. Some knight in shining armor to come riding in on their white horse. Who knows? Maybe it will happen, and you know, sometimes it probably does. But if we do that, there's no guarantee that that Savior will ever show up. And more importantly, it means that we voluntarily then choose to stay where we are, at this place that is no fun. I'm just not wired that way. In fact, I was just talking with my mom just recently here, and one of the trips where I was helping my parents about one of the ways that I am very much like her, and that is in this positive outlook, that even when there is a lot of negative stuff going on, and it would be so easy to just throw up your arms and say, I don't understand how to get out of this, I don't know how to, you know. And it's not to say that I haven't done that at times in my life, sometimes literally physically, but many more times in here. but not, instead of just waiting there, just hanging out there, of believing fully 100% there is a solution. Somehow this is going to work out. Now, doesn't mean then sitting back and waiting for the way that it's going to work out to just show up and be dropped in my lap. No, it means me being aware that this will work out. This is not the first time I have felt weighted like this. It's probably the last time I'll feel weighted like this. But see, the interesting thing is, every other time that I've felt this way is in the past. Meaning, I made it through. Somehow, some way that I could not see at the time, but in hindsight, I can see exactly how those things worked out. How does it all work out for me today? Your guess is as good as mine. But it will. I know it will. I honestly, I don't have concern about that. It's just plug it on until that solution presents itself. But even in doing that, I'm not going to sit back and moan and lament and complain and be a victim, because what's the point of that? I can still be positive, upbeat, happy, even uplifting others during time when I am feeling weighted down. It's who I am. It's how I'm wired, thanks to my mom. And you know what? I wouldn't change anything about that. Well, I got lots waiting on me, so I better get back to it. But you know what? No matter what happens, no matter what you face, no matter what hardships come your way, no matter what disappointments just show up in your face, no matter what kind of negative stuff crosses your path, you choose how to respond. You can respond by being angry at the world and everybody around you, or you can respond by smiling and continuing forward. Yeah, but I can't even see the path, Paul. I'm not even sure that I'm going the right direction. Doesn't matter. Keep moving forward. How's it going to work out? I don't know. But keep moving forward. Don't stop. Don't stay in the place you don't want to be. Keep moving forward, even though it means, for the time being, we have to take those steps with that extra weight on our shoulders. That's just life, my friend, and we will all make it through. And with that, I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.